Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet feeling? You're holding a device that can connect you to billions of people, but somehow you feel more alone than ever. It's a feeling a lot of us share, and it points to this deep contradiction at the very heart of our digital lives. So let's dig into this connection paradox. I mean, on one hand, it's undeniable. We are the most connected generation in all of human history. Think about it. Over 4.9 billion social media users are out there right now. We can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But on the other hand, rates of anxiety, depression, and just straight-up loneliness are climbing. And that is the central paradox of our time, this profound sense of isolation in an age of constant connection. Understanding this is, well, it's crucial to understanding the world we live in today. It forces us to ask a really fundamental, almost uncomfortable question. In our big quest to connect the entire world, did we accidentally build something that's now quietly reshaping us from the inside out?
So to understand how we got to this point, we have to look at how the mission itself changed. You see, the original promise was all about connecting people. But over time, that evolved into a new, and honestly, a far more powerful goal: capturing and holding on to our attention.
This brings us to a really critical idea: the algorithmic dopamine economy. Now, that's not just some catchy phrase. It's a perfect description of the digital world we're all living in. It's a system where artificial intelligence doesn't just show you what you like. It actively sculpts what you will desire. The goal isn't just to keep us engaged. It's to create this continuous, personalized loop of reinforcement that just keeps us coming back for more. So, how does this invisible process even work? Well, it's actually a pretty simple but incredibly powerful feedback loop. You scroll, the AI tracks everything: what you click, how long you pause on a video, even the speed of your thumb. It uses all that data to predict what's going to grab your attention next, and then, boom, it delivers it. It's this cycle of prediction and reinforcement, and the key here is that it's all happening so fast and so subtly, we're almost never even aware of it. Now, what's so wild is why this is all so incredibly effective. As the psychiatrist Anna Lemke puts it, we've basically transformed our world. We don't live in a world of scarcity anymore. We live in a world of overwhelming abundance, just packed with these highly rewarding things that are available 24/7. And these platforms, they're simply the most efficient delivery system for that reward that we have ever invented. But this state of constant engagement, it isn't free. There is a psychological price. And when we really start to look at the data, the human cost becomes frighteningly clear. Let's just start with a statistic that should honestly stop all of us in our tracks. Among teenage girls, spending more than 5 hours a day on social media is linked to a staggering 66% increase in the risk of suicide-related outcomes. That's compared to those who only spend about an hour, 66%. And this chart right here shows you how that risk just gets amplified. For kids who have been cyberbullied, the likelihood of contemplating suicide is 3 times higher than for their peers. The digital world can so easily become this inescapable source of pain. And this isn't just an issue for teenagers, not by a long shot. Look at this. Nearly a third of adults, people between 18 and 44, say they feel anxious if they haven't been able to check Facebook in the last 2 hours. The design of the system, it's impacting all of us. Okay, let's bring this a little closer to home. Be honest with yourself. Does any of this feel familiar? That feeling that your attention is just shattered into a million pieces. That compulsive, almost twitchy need to check your phone. The endless late-night scrolling that you know you should stop but you just can't. That little pang of feeling behind or left out. Or how about that weird irritability you feel right after you finally put the phone down? These aren't just quirks. They're symptoms. Symptoms of an environment engineered for constant engagement. So this has, of course, kicked off a major debate, and it's one that's now playing out in our highest courts. Is this psychological fallout just an unfortunate side effect, or is it the result of a deliberate design? In a huge lawsuit in Massachusetts against Meta, the two sides were laid out really clearly. On one side, you have the critics. They argue that platforms like Facebook and Instagram are intentionally engineered for addiction. They're pointing to things like endless scrolling and those nonstop notifications as tools designed specifically to exploit the psychology of young users. And on the other side, you have the defenders. They argue their platforms are protected by free speech and that they're really just performing traditional publishing functions, just reflecting human nature back at us. But during that very same hearing, a judge kind of cut through all the legal arguments with this stunningly simple observation. Justice Scott Kafker said, "It's not how to publish, but how to attract you to the information. It's about how to attract the eyeballs. It's indifferent the content." And what he's pointing out is that maybe the business model itself is the issue, a model that puts attention above literally everything else.
Which, of course, raises a much deeper, more philosophical question. This isn't just about one company or one app. It's about the very nature of the digital world we've all built. So, are we really the ones in control?
Decades before the internet even existed, the philosopher Michel Foucault wrote a lot about power, and he warned of these new, subtle forms of surveillance and control that wouldn't need walls or guards. Instead, they would work by shaping our behavior, our knowledge, and our desires, all at a massive scale. And in a way, we've kind of built the ultimate version of that system. One where the surveillance is constant and the control is so subtle we barely even notice it's there. Another philosopher, Jacques Derrida, gives us the perfect word for this technology, pharmakon. It's an ancient Greek term for something that is both a remedy and a poison at the exact same time. And that's exactly what social media is. It's a pharmakon. It connects us and it isolates us. It gives a voice to the voiceless, and it can be a tool of mass harassment. It's both the cure and it's the poison. And that leaves us right here. In a world where our greatest tools for connection may also be the things driving us apart, we have to ask ourselves a very difficult but absolutely vital question. In an age of infinite digital streams and algorithmic feeds, what does real connection even look like anymore?